Coming right up, Straight Talk with Art Levine. Our guest tonight, Long Beach Chief of Police Jim McDonnell, as we continue our 22nd anniversary year.
Straight Talk is brought to you in part by the Port of Long Beach, a leader in international trade and environmental stewardship. And the Press Telegram, your local news leader for over 100 years.
Join us for tonight's edition of Straight Talk. And now your host, Art Levine.
Good evening and welcome to Straight Talk. We're delighted to have as our guest for the entire show, the Long Beach Chief of Police, Jim McDonnell. Chief, welcome back to Straight Talk.
Thank you very much, Art. Thanks for having me.
Let's start with the crime stats. Very, very positive results of you and your force in a difficult environment.
Yeah, we feel very fortunate to be in the position we're in, and it came as a result of a lot of hard work by a very limited number of people on the police department, both sworn and civilian, as well as a relationship with the community where we're trying to expand the community's efforts to be able to help us to know what's going on in their neighborhood so we can help make it even safer. When you look at our stats here, to kind of put it in context, we finished out 2012 with the lowest violent crime stats that we've had in 40 years, since 1972. We're down 15.4% in violent crime this year compared to last.
Wow.
So on top of 40-year lows, we're down 15% there. On the property crime category, we're down 6.5%. And so some great declines in some critical areas. However, one that I would mention that's not down is residential burglary.
Yeah.
And in looking at that one, that's one the public can help us tremendously, and just by locking their doors and windows, watching out for their neighbors, and letting us know if they see somebody in their neighborhood that's acting suspiciously, that looks like they're walking around looking for opportunities, give us a call. We'll send somebody out there to talk to them and see what they're doing. And most oftentimes we get tremendous results on this.
I know on your appearance last year, you were very concerned about the 3 R's, the recession, the reduction in force,
right,
and the realignment
right,
that put some bad guys out on the street, that this would cause a bump. And yet, as you pointed out, violent crime down 15.4% from
right,
last year's
right,
lows. That's fantastic.
Yeah, we looked at, as you put it, the 3 R's. I like that. All of those issues are certainly challenges that we face, and what we've tried to do, given those constraints, with the number of people we have, to be as strategic as we can, to be efficient with the use of our people. We're pushing our people very hard, and they're stepping up, and they're doing a tremendous job, as evidenced by the numbers that you see here. But really, I think, how do we take it to the next level in Long Beach? And it's by an engaged community. It's by people in the past who have not been active in the community, who have not felt it part of their role to look out for their neighbors, to call the police, to let us know what they're seeing. And I think if we can accelerate that, encourage people to play an active role. Oftentimes I hear, well, I saw this guy in the neighborhood, but I didn't want to bother you. You know, you're not bothering us. That's what we're there for. We want to come out, and if something doesn't feel right to you, it probably isn't. And, you know, if we come out and talk to somebody who's walking down the street looking at houses and looking in car windows and that kind of thing, maybe they're not doing anything, and at worst case scenario, we just talk to them. But if they are actively out there looking for opportunities to break into a vehicle or break into a home, we can stop it before it happens.
And you mentioned how you need to be wise with the securing of your home and not doing things that would invite theft. And the same, of course, is true of auto burglary. You don't want
right,
to leave things on your seat that are attractive break-in targets.
Yeah, as much as we talk about this, you know, we're all very busy. We're all trying to do a lot of things at the same time, and we'll drive up somewhere, and we've got a laptop in the car. We've got you know, a cell phone or something that, you know, we're going to be using as soon as we get out of the car, or we used at the last stop, and we forget about it. We leave it there inside the car, and we get out. Well, somebody walking along who's an opportunist sees it in the car, takes them a couple of seconds to break your window, grab your item, and they're gone. You know, and that's again where, once it happens, the community looking out for each other and saying, hey, I saw something happen and I know it wasn't right, and calling us. And on the front end, you know, looking out for your own stuff with an eye towards, if I was an opportunist looking for property, you know, what would I do? And then think through it that way.
Good advice. Let's talk for a moment about the recent increase in officer-involved shootings. I know this has been widely publicized and is of concern to the community. Speak to that.
Yeah, it's a concern. Certainly, we understand the community's concern. That's something that last year we had 12 for the year, and in Long Beach we count everything. So we count animal shootings where somebody has to shoot a dog to protect themselves or somebody else. Accidental discharges, whether they happen within the police department or within the city family. Anybody who's armed, we handle that and we count that against our own stats. So we're looking at numbers last year that were relatively low by comparison. I think it was 9 last year, and the average year is 12. And then this year, now we're at 21. Of those 21, there's 2 or 3 that are accidental discharges, and I believe we have 3 additional that are animal shootings. So when you back those out and you look at the numbers, then we critically evaluate every officer-involved shooting. We put a tremendous amount of resources into the investigation of it, the reporting of it. We have a very critical debrief about 72 hours after a shooting, make a number of decisions at that point, and then there's a much longer period where the complete investigation is done, and then we'll have a use of force review board down the road that looks at every aspect of the shooting, the drawing and exhibiting of the firearm, the tactics leading up to it, and the actual use of force itself. We look at the investigation, we look at the first part of it, the call taker, the dispatch, how the officers got there, and every aspect of how we responded to that call and what the outcomes were are critically evaluated. That, if I could, coupled with the district attorney on any officer-involved shooting where there's a hit, where there's a suspect hit, the district attorney rolls out a team and they do their own investigation concurrently. If there's a death, the coroner also comes out and does their own independent investigation. So there's a lot of eyes looking at all of these officer-involved shootings. We take them very, very seriously. And we walk away from each one, hopefully with some lessons learned to try and avoid shootings in the future as best we can. And again, that's a great goal, but one that we know in an urban environment that with so many guns on the street there, that officers are going to face somebody with a gun and have to do what is traumatizing to the community, traumatizing to the officer, their family, the victim, the victim of the crime, if there was one associated with that prior, the suspect's family, and it's a ripple effect throughout the community. So certainly something that is of great concern to everybody, but we put officers in harm's way so that others don't have to face that. And unfortunately, this year there has been an increase in that number, and we do the best we can.
Okay, we'll be continuing our conversation with the chief after these messages. Stay with us.
At the Port of Long Beach, we're not only delivering jobs, smart ideas, and forward-thinking environmental initiatives, we're also delivering opportunity for all of Southern California. Oh, and a clearer horizon line. To learn more, go to polb.com. The Port of Long Beach, thinking outside the docks.
Hello, I'm Jessica Hardy, a proud Long Beach native and a member of the USA Swimming national team. Having spent much of my life in water, I've developed a deep appreciation for the valuable role that this precious resource plays in our lives. In recent years, California's water supply has become unreliable. To address this reality, Long Beach residents have dramatically reduced their water use through permanent lifestyle changes. In doing so, Long Beach has made itself a leader in water conservation. As I work hard to achieve my personal goal of qualifying for the 2012 Summer Olympics, I encourage you to continue your tremendous efforts to use water in smart and responsible ways. So join me and your fellow Long Beach residents in strengthening the water conservation movement. By making small but significant changes in our water use habits, together we can ensure that we have a reliable water supply for many generations to come.
At Performance Plus Tire, you'll find we carry Toyo tires. For over 50 years, Toyo has been a world leader in the development of high-quality tires. Optimum performance, safety, and a comfortable ride. That's what makes Toyo tires great. And now come into Performance Plus Tire for a great deal on these Toyo tires. Proxys ST, Open Country AT, and Proxys 4. Toyo tires, driven to perform. Come in today and we'll install new Toyo tires on your vehicle while you wait. Performance Plus Tire on Cherry Avenue, 1 mile north of the 405 in Long Beach.